Hey guys, it's Woody the Unexceptional Gamer, and today, March 12th, Black Ops 2 came out with a brand new patch. Sometimes these patches are really significant and sometimes they're not. This one is a big deal. They're a big deal to me when there's a rebalancing effort done in the game, when it really affects the way that you play this game, and that's what this one had. So, oh, by the way, a quick note on this gameplay, the file on my hard drive was called Camping A-Hole, so you know what to expect. Anyway, let's talk about what the patch has. Alright, first things first, SMGs. There are two submachine guns that are generally considered to be more powerful than all the others. The MSMC and the PDW-57. Both of them have had the same nerf. If you're not used to gaming terms, nerf is to make something less powerful, buff is to make something more powerful. The MSMC and the PDW-57 have both had their recoil increased. So when you shoot, the bullets are no longer going to go into this one nice perfect hole or one nice tiny cluster. Instead, they're going to spread out more. The impact that this has is if you shoot, I don't know, right now it probably takes, 8 or 12 bullets generally in the same area to get that 5 on target that kill him. That might increase to, say, 10 or 14 before you get the 5 on target that kill him. Now, depending on your distance, of course, but that's the general idea, right? Even if your aim is perfect, usually you have to shoot more than 5 bullets to get 5 on target. Because of the recoil. Well, the recoil is going to go up, therefore the time to kill is going to get a little bit slower and the amount of ammo that you use is going to be a little bit higher, and there you have it. There's two more nerfs to the same guns, the MSMC and the PDW-57, and that is that the hip fire accuracy has been reduced. So again, when you walk around, do you see the little reticles, the little 4 lines, that show you roughly where your hip fire is going to go? Well, that's going to get slightly wider. So that's what you can expect. Again, same impact. As you run around to spraying from the hip, it's no longer going to go in the right place. The time to kill is going to be a little bit worse because it's going to take more bullets to get the job done. That's what they did to the SMGs, and that's pretty significant. I would argue that the PDW and the MSMC might be the two most popular guns in this game. Roughly, if you were to pick two, they'd be two good choices. And the fact that they've taken them and made the recoil worse and the hip fire accuracy worse is a notable change, but there's more. Cap 40, Akimbo, is changed. I didn't see this a ton in pub matches. I haven't been using the Cap 40 very much, but you see it a lot in competitive play. A lot of times in competitive play, they'll grab a powerful assault rifle like the FAL or the AN-94, is that the name of that gun? They'll take that for their distance stuff and then switch to the Cap 40 when they're expecting a close quarter engagement, right? Like maybe if they're walking around in an area just like this where any gunfight you're going to get into is going to be right there, then they would switch over to their Akimbo Cap 40. Well, the Akimbo Cap 40 has been nerfed. The dual wield damage has been reduced. Akimbo damage is no longer what it used to be. And the other thing is the dual wield hip fire accuracy has been reduced. So not just the recoil like they did on the SMGs we talked about. Instead, they're going to say if you rock this thing Akimbo, the bullets no longer hurt as much as they did before, and the hip fire accuracy is worse, which is the only accuracy you get when you're talking about Akimbo. So yeah, that gun, real popular in competitive play, has now been nerfed. The MMS attachment. Cold-blooded now renders enemies almost completely invisible to MMS. MMS is that, like reticle. I don't use it very much, but it allows you to see through walls. It kind of pulses and you see the other guy through walls. It's like wall hacks almost. And now, if you have cold-blooded, you can't. It says almost completely invisible. So let's just assume that it's not invisible, but it's much harder to target guys through the MMS, through walls, than it used to if they're running cold-blooded. That to me isn't a big difference. I don't see a ton of that reticle. What I see a lot of is the red dot because it's so snappy and easy to use, and the target finder. A reticle I thought would suck, when I watched it in the trailer, that turned out to be really powerful in this game. LMGs have been buffed. If you remember Video Game Talk, nerf means make it worse, buff makes it better. The QBB, LSW, and the Hammer have both had the same modification. The medium range damage has been increased. So now this thing's going to be a little quicker to kill, assuming your bullets are on target, at medium range than it was before. And that time to kill is kind of the whole deal. Like this gun here, right? You can use it just fine, but the bullets go so widespread at close damage like this that the time to kill is slower than than like an SMG. It's not so much that the bullets are not as powerful as the SMGs. You know, the bullets are pretty powerful coming out of an LMG. It's that you can't get them on target, and you know, that's the deal. Anyway, the medium range damage on an LMG is going to be on two of the LMGs. The LSW and the Hammer is bigger than it was before. Now, assault rifles. There are buffs and nerfs coming in the assault rifle. So the FAL with select fire, they reduce the damage when firing full auto. This is the second time they've nerfed it. The first, they had a patch a couple months ago where they took the FAL in select fire and gave it more recoil than it had before. It had more recoil than it does when you run it semi-auto. Now it's going to have more recoil and less damage than when compared to the semi-auto version of the rifle. Again, just an effort to balance it. You know, when they I was just getting into the FAL when the patch first came out, and I was like, oh man, now it's over. But it turned out it wasn't over. That you know, the FAL was still a really good gun, and Treyarch took notice, and they made it worse again. SMR plus select fire, damage is reduced when firing full auto. Same sort of deal. You know, what happens is they take these semi-auto guns and then they make them competitive by giving them a ton of damage. Well, the select fire attachment has made these high damage semi-auto guns to be real viable compared to like the Scar and more. So so now they're not high damage when they're in full auto anymore. That's how they're doing it. Two more changes. Well, actually a bunch more changes, but let's talk. Type 25, the movement speed has been increased, and the medium range damage has been increased. And that's interesting. I always, like, Type 25 was never that good in my hands, and maybe now it will be if it's more powerful and I can move faster. The Scar, long range damage increased. That caught my attention too. The Scar is already, to me, one of the better assault rifles. I know my friend Onslaught thinks it's one of the best guns in the game. Like when he's really trying to show off, or when he's trying to, you know, play against a team where he needs to bring his A game, the Scar is his go-to gun. And now the long range damage on it has been increased. It's going to be even better than before. The SWAT 5.56, same deal. Long range damage increased. So some pretty significant changes to the assault rifles. The ones that did well with select fire have been made worse, and the Type 25 Scar and SWAT have all been made better. Shotguns, just one gun was impacted. The M1216 has medium range damage increased. So we'll see. That gun. That gun has been my frustration. Maybe with medium range damage increase, it'll do better. To me, shotguns are fairly hard to use, and you know, whatever. Medium range damage on the M1216 is going up. Sniper rifle has a buff. The ballista with the iron sight, the idle sway has been reduced. And you know, when I first saw that there were iron sights in this game, like in the trailer and stuff, before I tried them, I thought, wow, you know, this is going to be great. It's going to behave like, you know, the MK14 did in Black Ops 1, which is to say, you know, real lethal, easy to get on target and stuff. It turns out iron sights on a sniper rifle are pretty difficult to use. And that's not what people use when they're trying to do well, oftentimes. So they're going to reduce the idle sway, which means that as you aim down sights and just stand still, it'll stay right on target instead of like moving around and doing its thing. So that's one of the ways it'll make it easier to aim it, because it won't you know, bounce around while you're just waiting for someone to walk into your sights. Some non-weapon specific things they changed. Spawn system. I didn't expect to see this, but there's a couple things. Reduce the weight of positive spawn influencers on domination flags. So you know, now if you own like AB, they're always going to spawn at C. Well, there were situations where people would spawn at C, but also near danger. So now the domination flag isn't going to weigh on where people spawn quite as much as it used to. They added more spawn points to hijacked for demo and kill confirmed, which, you know, improves the spawn picking algorithm, right? The idea is to spawn you in some place that's not totally boring and away from everyone, but also in a place where you're not going to get insta-killed and spawn camped and things like that. So adding more spawn points allows them to do a better job. And they adjusted the spawn influencers on standoff for improved spawn picking algorithms in all game modes. And you know, that means exactly what it says. They're going to try to put you in better spawn points on standoff than they did before. So yeah, some pretty significant changes. There were also some bug fixes. There were a ton of them, but I tried to pick the most important ones. There was an exploit with the trophy system where you could get it and then like the lodestar would fire, and it was a way that people would do gameplay boosting. So every nade, every tack, every lodestar, everything was giving people like infinite trophy system boosts, and they could pick up like 60,000 XP in a game, and that's been fixed. And then there was another issue where the game would sometimes crash after repeated host migration, and that's fixed now too. So huge changes to Black Ops 2 if you're a Black Ops 2 junkie like I am, and thought you guys would be interested in knowing. So try out some of those other submachine guns, try out the Scar, try out the Type 25, and see if you like them now. If you liked the video, be sure to drop it a like. If you're new around here, subscribe by clicking that blue box in the top right. There's 2 videos you may have missed. If you've never seen my stuff before, check out this week's Mail Monday. I thought it was a good one. And on the right, the Harlem Shake copyright gets trolled, and I think that's fun. So anyway, have a good day.